I'm now going to can some chicken broth in 1 liter jars that I've already sterilized, and I have the lids sitting in the hot water right now. And I'm going to fill them. That's not stains on there. I sort of melted my jar filler in the not microwave, dishwasher, and it left marks on it, as that is what happens. So it's not dirty. It's gone through the dishwasher many times. So I'm going to fill up all these jars. Now that they're filled, you dip paper towel into vinegar to wipe the rims so that it gets all of the grease. So there's going to be a proper seal of the jars. You gotta make sure you got them all. Also, in the boiling water in the pressure canner, you have to put a bit of vinegar in there in case there is any leakage from the jars, which is fine, but then it won't stick to the jars and make them all greasy. And then you put the lids on the jars and you put the rings on until they're just finger tight, and then you put them in the canner. You have to make sure there's a rack at the bottom. You never put the jars on the bare bottom of the canner, or else they'll have a high chance of breakage and exploding, which is never good. And the sort of good thing is, after many years of cooking and stuff, my fingertips, I don't feel very much from them because I've burnt them a few times. So I can pick up hot jars sometimes. These ones are at least just warm from the broth and the lids. I have one too many for the canner, so I will put a used lid on that one and put that one into the fridge to be used for soup tomorrow or the next day, whenever I plan to make that chicken tortellini soup. See, that's a lot of water. I'm going to have to take some water out. Now I put my hand in some Vaseline, and you make sure that you get all the edges really well of your canner so that there's a good seal and it can be lifted out and stuff. It says you should do this every time or every second time. It depends on how often you're using it and when was the last time you did it. And then you put it in and you line up the arrow to the little groove here. You can see the groove right here. So you make sure that you do the same ones on either side, opposite of each other. And you just do finger tight. And you make sure that it's really locked in there. The arrow's lining up to the groove. All these are tight. And then you wait till it boils. Where I am, I'm at sea level. So I just wait for it to hit 10 pounds pressure and time it for 10 minutes. And then after that 10 minutes is done, then I'll start timing for the actual canning process. And I'll put the weighted measure right here, in here, for either 5 or 10, 5, 15, or 10 pound pressure. So this is what you are looking for, this steam coming out of here. If you can kind of see it, I need to time it now for 10 minutes. It has now been 10 minutes of this. As you can see, it's already at like 5 pounds pressure. I'm going to put it down. At 10 pounds pressure for my area. And I'm also going to lower down the heat because I know that this gets up to 10 pounds pretty quickly. Once it starts jiggling regularly, then I will start a timer for 25 minutes for 1 liter or 1 quart jars. If I had 2 layers, I could do 2 layers of the small jars here. I could do that for 20 minutes for the 500 mils. For the 500 mils or pint jars, it would be 2 layers right here. And I would use a second rack inside to separate the jars. So now that it's jiggling, I put the 10 pound pressure on, and I now see that it's been jiggling. I now put my timer for 25 minutes for 1 quart jars or 1 liter jars. If I had the smaller 500 ml jars or pint jars, it would have been 20 minutes. So I'm now going to lower my temperature because it shouldn't be jiggling that much. And as you can see, I'm also doing this on a glass top stove. It's technically not recommended for it because some of the older glass top stoves couldn't handle the weight of the pressure canner, and I don't think mine could handle one that could do 2 layers of the 1 liter jars. This canner can do 2 layers of the 500 ml jars or smaller, and only 1 layer of the liter or quart jars. So now I will time this for 25 minutes and get back to you. So now I turn the stove off and I wait till this stops spitting out air and that this goes down to 0 pressure before I take the weight off. And you can see that the pressure has gone down to almost 5 pounds. It's still spitting a little bit out there. you need to have that go down to completely zero for a while before we attempt to take off the weight. Otherwise, if we take off the weight too soon, all the liquid that is in the jars will seep through the lids and the rings out into the bath. The canner has now been at zero for a good 10-15 minutes. I'm going to remove the weight and let the rest of the little bit of steam in there out. There's, you hear it just a little bit. And then I'm going to try and unlock these. It's hot. Shouldn't try and pick that thing up because it's hot, because it's metal. And then lift the lid and look at that beautiful broth. Lid down on the stove. And look at that, it's still bubbling. I'm gonna get one out. Look, and it's still bubbling away. There, they're all out now. And you can still see they are bubbling. I'm just gonna double check. Oh, they're already popping. That they're all just finger tight because there was a pop. They all need to be just finger tight. You don't have to tighten really hard because the hot water bath makes the rings bigger and they can get loose. So you just want them finger tight. Another one done. See, that one still needs to pop. And that one. You can hear. So now they'll just cool. And they will cool overnight. And in the morning I will put them away. So now I have 7 liters of chicken stock broth that is shelf safe, and I have 1 liter I put in the fridge because my canner could not hold it, so I will use that one in the next couple days. Enjoy! Hopefully this was informative and made it not so scary to use a pressure canner. I know I was scared the first time, and I'm just a regular mom doing it, and I did it from following other people's videos too. Have a good night. Off to bed now.